Barely even. What? I'm recording.
Oh, go ahead, baby.
Okay, this is season 1, episode 19 of our never-ending series of sugar cookie marketing podcast.
So, Heather, tell us, what did you do with your most valuable weekend ever?
My most valuable weekend?
Where you have time to yourself, where you can just forget about the world.
I thought I would be absolutely adorable. So I drove 21 hours to grab dinner and drive back. So I thought it'd be cute to surprise my boyfriend up in Michigan on, if you hold your hand up like the mitten, like you Michiganders like to do, it's on the left side of the pinky. As far as possible from Virginia. I told him I had scheduled an Uber Eats driver to arrive at 4 and drop off food from his favorite restaurant, to which he said, I'm pretty sure they don't deliver here. It's too far away. And I said, darn it, my cover is blown. I said, I don't know. Looks like they're making an exception if I give them a very large tip. Anyways, I showed up. It was adorable. I thought I was 20 and could do this drive. I am 32 and can no longer do a drive like that. So that'll be my one and done. I will never drive that far in a day.
It was insane. I would rather poke my eyes out than drive 2 hours.
Okay, great. Tell us about your exciting weekend.
Wow. A skeeto.
A mosquito.
A skeeter. Got into my bedroom last night, and I couldn't see it, but I could hear it.
What a crazy, wild, and interesting life you lead.
I know.
Okay, what did you do? I think that is torture to be able to hear a bug and not know where
I was like getting out. The dog was looking with me, but I think he thought we were playing a game. I'm just looking for this bug. Could not find him, so I buried myself in 3 blankets, but just put my nose out so I could still breathe. I said, this is either going to be a great idea or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer situation by morning.
It was a risky click.
It was a risky click, but I actually have an air purifier in my room and a fan. So I angled the fan at the air purifier, hoping that the bug would get caught in this airstream and get purified in the air.
What a way to go. Lest Corrie be your favorite twin, let me tell you how she sleeps at night. The house temperature is set to 68, but it's too cold. Fair enough. So she wraps herself in 3 blankets until she sweats. But then it's too hot, so she adds a fan.
There's so many layers.
There's a lot of layers, mentally, figuratively, and physically.
I call it, I burrito myself.
She wakes up in a sweat. That people of the airwaves, people talking to me right now, who can sleep sweating?
It's good until, if I wake up, then I just, my body
is the blanket sticking to you?
Everything's sticking to me.
That's crazy. That's insane. And she's flabbergasted that I drove 21 hours and she sleeps like a burrito bun. So I don't.
Like a sauna. I'm literally losing weight while I sleep.
It's but if you want to be cold, why the fan? If you want to be hot, why the fan? What the fan's kind of throwing it.
You know, when you pop a foot out, pop a leg, pop a squat. When you pop a foot out to cool off.
Yeah.
I need that instant cool because I'm so hot.
What if you just eliminated the blankets and just had one blanket?
I'll get too cold. I've tried it. Then I'll get too cold. One blanket does not shield my body from the cold.
To paint a picture for the people listening, bless their souls, you are in a burrito bun, but a leg is hanging off the edge of the bed. And there's a mosquito flying around.
There's a nose up top, a foot down below.
That is insane. So we'll be accepting new members to Heather's My Favorite Twin Facebook group.
And us burrito folk. Come on, Diane.
I'll do ya.
All right, Heather. So explain what this podcast is, where it's from, and who it's geared towards.
So we are the 2 people representing a Facebook group of now 18,500 folk, mostly centered around sugar cookie baking and selling. But we have, a diverse subset of people there.
Yeah.
But the concept is I'm working out of my home and I'm here to make money. Right? So what the podcast covers is basically what we cover in the group in audio form.
Yeah, so what I thought the podcast would be fun, I had to literally pull Heather's teeth to be a part of this. But when you're baking, you got flour on your hands. You can't scroll through the group. Plus the group, the only posts that trend are beet hater posts.
Beet hater. I was like, what's a beet hater?
Potato post. Sorry, guys. We went to the Olive Garden, so we were chock full of free salad and breadsticks. But when you're there, your family's go.
Anyways, the podcast, we start at marketing minutes.
Start at marketing
Then we
minutes.
go to kind of the business of baking, which is more of what?
business theory, things to grow your business mindsets.
I like that. And then we swing by kind of, voicemails. So things that you guys call in, text in, or email in about. After that, we go to group stuff, which we always have a lot of stuff going on in the group. So
now we have a ton of stuff going on in the group.
I know, it's crazy. We'll talk about that in a second. Then
Twinterests.
Then sponsors. Then
empty mailbag.
The mailbag. Okay, so let's get started. So in the marketing minutes, Corrie wanted to talk about the strategy behind Instagram posting, but I also would love to talk about the logo collab and why we're doing it.
Hit us with that first. I'm very excited. I baked all last night. Heather ate them this morning.
They were delicious. There's still a few left upstairs. So in the group, we set up a logo collab. This is not our idea. It's nothing new, but it is a fascinating way to generate engagement. And it's also a great challenge to just push yourself with your baking, right?
Yeah.
So basically what the collab is a bunch of people get together and agree on the same day they're going to post a certain challenge cookie. At the same time. And then everyone's going to go through and find a certain hashtag and you're going to engage with posts made throughout the day.
Yeah.
So what does that do for people?
So what it does is it brings a group of people together that might not have already known each other. You can be from any facet. So we have, someone's cooking something, another person's making a pie.
Cake people. Macaroon people.
So all these people that usually go down a different route are being brought together. And then what it does, it challenges you. So we're doing a logo collab. So you literally are turning your logo
into a baked good.
Right. And then everyone from that collab is going to come and engage with your content to give you a boost in the algorithms, to show you a little bit of support, and to bring this new community together.
So lest you think logo collabs are just challenges, they're more of an engagement thing. You could post anything as long as you're using the correct hashtag on the correct date. You kind of get like a little, what do they used to call those groups where you manufacture engagement?
Engagement pods.
Engagement pod,
That's
right?
exactly what it is.
Yeah. So the thing is, if I ever saw a collab of any sort, I'd engage with it. I would try to join it because it is, yes, you're pushing yourself a little creatively, unless you have an Eddie, then you're pressing the print button. But you are pushing yourself to try new stuff, meet new people, engage, and things like that. Now, the key is it's not a follow challenge. You're not following these people.
Right.
You're just engaging, you're commenting, you're liking, you're commenting, engaging comments, and then you're also getting inspired by other people's work.
Right. So I think I ran a collab last year, and it was a cat collab. If anyone knows me on Instagram, you know that I'm a little obsessed with cat cookies and my cats. Mostly Fuzz.
That is so rude to Rube.
Rube is a OG.
Corrie has a cat that is just old, but it never grew up. It's very little, but it is like generic issue cat.
Heather, for some reason, has it out for Rube, but Rube is like the best cat. She understands like when I want affection, when we need to go the other way.
If I'm ever at Corrie's house, I just know Rupert. What is his name?
Well, it's technically Ruby Kitty, but she doesn't.
I know Ruby Kitty is looking at me from somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it is looking at me.
But we did a cat collab, and it brought people I didn't know. They were like, hey, I like cats. I like collabs. Can I join a part of it? Absolutely. Then on the same day, we all posted this cat day collab, and I met a ton of nice people through it, people that I still follow to today. And it was great because we all saw cats, cookies, and collabs.
So we've wrapped up the signups for this collab, but you can still check out the hashtag tomorrow. Around noon is when we challenged everyone to post it, but anytime after noon.
It is hashtag sugar cookie marketing collab.
Right. So basically you can go and look at people's logos, and if you want to engage with them and throw them a little likey like, that would be great. But we found that doing cookie collab management is pretty difficult. This would be our first ever.
Remind people, first off, most collabs are like maybe 20 people top. This is 350 people. So it's a lot more intensive than the normal collab you would kind of be a part of. But
we have a healthy list. I've done a list scrubbing today. Some of y'all do not know how to type facebook.con.
Yeah, Heather just yelled, someone said .cons. Someone put a space in their logo.
Yeah, so we cleaned up the list, and if you're on the list, you can either go through the hashtag, but for Facebook, hashtags don't work, so we needed a
list to click to.
Right. So you could essentially open Instagram on your browser, open the Google Sheet doc that we have shared in the logo collab event, and just click through and engage.
So because of that, we thought, hey, what a great time to talk about how to get Instagram engagement when it's time to post. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I do
to Okay.
Get them likes.
Okay.
Get them sponsors. Just kidding, I have no sponsors. But when you go to post, we have a little sister. She doesn't listen to this, so it's okay if I talk bad about her.
Hi, Sam.
But she says, Corrie, I wish I could get more followers. But I said, do you go and engage with people's content? She says, never. What are you looking at?
I don't. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Your little green light's not going. Say something. Okay. Continue on.
Okay, so Summer doesn't engage with people. She doesn't get followers. So what I do before I go to post, first off, I check my insights. When is my audience most active?
Love it. Great one. And Facebook tells you that. Corrie did not make that up. Facebook tells you when the audience is most active.
If you're on your Instagram profile, go to Insights if you have a business account or a creator account. Click Insights. I think you click Audience. Scroll down to the bottom. Choose your day. Click on those graph bars and it will tell you exactly how many of your followers are active at that hour of the day. So most of my followers, for some odd reason, are, I think, clicking on during lunch because it's usually around 12 p.m. So at 11:30, if I really have my strategy in place, what I'll go and do is go to hashtag sugar cookies on Instagram and then go to recents. And then I start engaging.
Oh, this is genius.
Posts.
See, everyone thought you were going to say you're going to upload your post, but she said, no, Boo Bear, follow me down this path. So you go and start engaging with people 30 minutes prior to your post.
Yes, because those people who are posting,
now, why did you pick recents and not top?
I picked recents because those people are currently on the platform.
And what she means is she looked up a hashtag, and when you look up a hashtag on Instagram, it populates the top post for that hashtag, and then towards the right you can switch the screen to show you the recent posts. Now, top posts, those people famous. Those people don't need your likes.
You.
Right. So we need the recent posts because those people are right on the platform currently. I mean, you're seeing things posted seconds ago.
So the reason why I do such a broad hashtag in the Crumb Cookies account, which is what I post my fun things to, I just want bakers to follow me. So that's more of an influencer style account. It's a creator account versus maybe going after local, which you can use as strategy there as well. So I will go to hashtag sugar cookies. I will start engaging with people that have recently posted. And it's not just liking them and giving them like a comment of an emoji heart. No, I am reading their caption and I am looking at their photo and I am commenting on their caption and their photo. Because you know what? People are stalkers. And you know what they're going to do?
Stalk.
Click to my profile.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I want to have when I am posting my...
Be stalked.
Huh?
Be stalked.
I want to be stalked. So in the 30 minutes that I'm going to post my content, I want those people stalking my profile. Why? Because I want them to give likes to my new post so it can trend, so I can reach more people, get more followers.
I like that.
So, go ahead.
No. I'm still walking down this road with you.
So I'll start engaging with their content. I'll start commenting. I'll make sure that if I didn't respond to comments on my last post, that I do it 30 minutes before I make my new post.
I get them back in there. So
why?
Corrie's
Because a notification will show up on their phone, and of course they want to see what was said to them because people love reading comments. So I want them to come back to my profile right before I post my big shebang.
I like it. I like it.
Then, at the 30 minutes mark, when I know the highest amount of people are on the platform that follow me, I'll go ahead and make my post. In my post, I'm going to give them a little piece of me. It's not just going to be like, thank you, Cindy, for your cookie order, because that doesn't give anyone anything to go off of.
Nothing to engage with. They don't know Cindy. They don't know what Cindy ordered.
They know I bake cookies. They know I probably baked it for somebody. So what I want to do is give them a little information about me. It doesn't have to be like, I had tummy troubles yesterday. It needs to be something.
I think that was an hour ago, but go ahead.
I'll go. When you're here, run to the bathroom. Just kidding.
Go on.
So I want to give them a little piece of me, whether it be the inspiration behind my unicorn cookies that I posted last time or that one birthday party I had. But after I give them a little piece of me, I want to end my Instagram post with a question for them.
Great. And now you've allowed somebody to engage with you without them having to think, like, what can I do?
Cool cookies, Corrie. nailed it.
Right. Where'd you get that cutter from? No, give us an example of a question you asked.
So I'd be like, what was your favorite birthday party you've ever had growing up?
Good.
So
And now Corrie can't just ask them that and not reply to them. You got to start that.
So then guess what? They're going to tell me their favorite birthday party. Now we have a conversation going. Now I can say, instead of them being like, cute cookies, Corrie, they can be like, oh, this one time my mom surprised me and took me to this picnic. And I can be like, oh my goodness, my mom took me to a picnic. And then now we have more of a friendship, more rapport, more everything like that.
Now, how do you implement hashtags? So I'm sure people, if you don't know, Instagram allows you to use up to 30 hashtags. If you don't think hashtags are valuable, go back to Corrie's step 1, where she searches hashtags.
Yeah, guys, I love me a good hashtag.
Now, hashtags can be in the bio or they can be in the first comment of your post, and they still count.
Yes, so I always put it in the caption because I guess I like that messy look. Some people can put it in the first comment. It is up to you.
But you got 30 of them.
You have 30 of them. Some people are like, I never use 30.
It's free space.
Now, I don't see it being a negative thing that affects it.
What I kind of see a cool strategy is 10 industry hashtags. Again, now think about your target audience. Corrie says hers is cookiers, so maybe she'd be looking more about 20, right? But if you're a local cookier, we still want to get the engagement from cookie people. This isn't a following thing. This is an engagement thing. So I'd say 10 industry hashtags from sugar cookie marketing.
Cookie decorator. I can just be on cookie love. Cookie decorator.
Isn't there like inspo,
Sugar cookies of the day.
Right. So those, find you 10 solid ones of those that you really like.
Yeah.
Then I'd like to challenge people. I'm sorry, I'm taking your little path.
I can tell.
10 local hashtags. So hashtags that are local to your city, your location, something that people are using. Here we have Nova Foodies. I know I reference it a lot because it's perfect for us. It's our location, Northern Virginia, Nova, and an interest, foodies, people consuming food.
So to that, you're like, okay, I have the one hashtag, Nova Foodies. No, there's DMV Eats. There's Northern Virginia Foodies. There's hashtag Foodie, Virginia Foodies, VA Foodies. There's so many. And
here's a thing to nobody realize. Nova Foodies, plural, and Nova Foodie are considered 2 different hashtags.
Yeah, and you can actually check their following. So here's my what I look for in hashtags. Okay. The hashtag sugar cookies actually has 3.9 million mentions. Do you think I would stay at the top of that hashtag very long?
No, baby girl.
But if I chose maybe a smaller hashtag that only had 200,000 mentions, do you think I could stay at the top of that one longer?
A lot longer than, less competition, longer you're parked up there.
So a few of each is a really healthy hashtag.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip.
So I want people... I know, since My Crumb Cookies is geared towards bakers, that people just entering the industry don't know of all the industry hashtags, and they're going to go with the most broad one, hashtag sugar cookies. So I do want to use that one in there because people who are new, that's what they're looking up. They haven't been, in the industry long enough to know that there's 50 million more that you can use. So I want to get the new people, and then I want to get some hashtags that have lower mentions so I can stay at the top a bit longer, potentially get to the Explorer feed for that hashtag and get more reach, hopefully more follows.
Another hashtag strategy. So we talked about 10 industry. I like the variance between popular and less popular. I like 10 location-based hashtags. So what you're going to use, Corrie, is going to be different than what somebody in Texas is going to use.
Amen.
And then I like to say 10 kind of photo-specific hashtags. So now we're coming at 30.
I'm going to be honest. I look up photo-specific hashtags all the time for inspiration. So if I need cactus cookies, I'm going to look up
hashtag cactus cookies, which Corrie would not use on another post because, again, we only have 30 hashtags. Sounds like a lot, is not in the grand scheme of things. So if you're using hashtag unicorn cookie, hashtag unicorn cookies, things like that.
So if you're making a wedding set of cookies, regardless if it's a ring or just if it's a wedding set, hashtag wedding cookies. You will stay at the top of that one a lot longer. A lot of people look for that hashtag for inspiration, so you're going to reach a lot of those people.
Yeah. I like it. So so you got your engaging caption. You have a nice photo. Here's the thing. The better the photo.
Guess what? Next topic for business and baking.
I know, and this is a big one. So a lot of it, you can have the best marketing strategy in the world, and without an eye-capturing photo, you're fighting an uphill battle.
You're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, so we want to have our photography on lock. We want to have our caption on lock. We definitely want to have our hashtags on lock. Here's the thing. Are you going to type out 30 hashtags? Absolutely, you're not. But a great way is to use the Notes app on your phone to save the 20 that you're going to use, 10 industry, 10 local, and then hand type that last 10 to be photo specific. So
yeah, so I have it on my shortcut keys. I can just begin to type it and then it just populates it for me.
perfect.
But I do say don't grow stale with your hashtags. Switch it up a little bit. If you do the good hashtag research that we've talked about in the past in the group, there's a lot of big hashtags and smaller hashtags that you can switch up so your content never grows stale. So,
I know people think we're done, but we ain't done yet tagging people.
Tagging people. I tag literally anything. If I see it and I think I got that from Hobby Lobby circa 2012, I am going to tag Oh Baby, Low Baby. And I'm gonna, they never share my stuff, but one day.
But Joanne Fabrics shared your stuff.
Joanne Fabrics shared my stuff.
If BRP, tag the box coming out, shared your stuff. Tag the person you got the beads from. If it's an Etsy seller, I guarantee you if your photos are nice, they'll share your stuff.
I tag the cutter shops I get it from because a lot of cutter shops do have a rather large following. And I want that like from that account because it's considered a power like, which is a whole different aspect. But if you can get accounts with large followings to like your stuff, even better. So there's a strategy there. I also always include a location in my post because we are our biggest fans. You're like, but it's in my bio. But if I'm scrolling through Instagram, I'm not clicking to everyone's thing to see where they're located at. But I want, if someone in Fairfax County, Virginia scrolls past my post and they jive with it in some way, I want them to be like, oh, she's in Fairfax County.
Here's another part of tagging location that I really like. Just like you can search hashtags, you can search to tag locations, meaning, so I can see when Corrie posts, she's going to tag Fairfax in one post, Burke in another post, Springfield in another post, Tyson's in another post. And that way that when somebody just search location, which they'll do if they want to find what's good to do, because again, even location tags are searchable by top and recent. So people can come and that could be another discovery point.
And now I'm going to give my hidden tip that I never give anybody.
Oh, we is ready.
I know.
Take us down the path. Finish the path.
Finish. This is how we'll wrap this little section up. When you're getting ready to post, scroll down. It's called advanced settings.
I saw this.
You'll click on that.
You do alt text? Is this alt text? Alt text.
Alt text.
I love it. I love it.
Alternate text. Say if someone had slow internet or someone had the disability and couldn't necessarily see whatever that photo was. When you write alternative text, you're telling that person who maybe can't see the photo what exactly is in that photo. So I'm super specific with it. So I'll say sugar cookies cut out in the form of unicorns with white royal icing. It'll have blue royal icing as the mane and the tail with gold accents painted by TMP Gold and a heart royal icing.
I was born in winter of November 1988 when my gleam in my mother's eye.
What I want to do is I want to reach absolutely every aspect. There's so much of my time that went into photoing that post to making those cookies that I need to have as much runway to reach as many people as I possibly can.
Now I know there's a feature that you kind of use sometimes, and it's getting people from your stories to go back to see your posts, and it's kind of giving people a glimpse. And I know you do it. Go from this to see my latest picture, to see what this behind the scenes turned into. So that way your ugly stuff is in your story that expires in 24 hours and your highlight reel is back on your feed.
Yeah, so when I post in my feed, I'll have an ugly photo of what it looked like unstaged, cell phone, yellow light, and I'll put it in my stories. And I say, go from this to this, and then you see a stage photo, but it also complements the photo that I posted in my feed. So I want people to come from my stories to my feed, from my feed to my stories, so I can get as much traction off of that hard work and get as much runway, as much reach as I possibly can. Because on that crumb cookies count, my goal is to get more followers. So if I can look at a post and I say, hey, that brought in 50 followers, that's a good post. There was some strategy behind that. What did I do? Can I replicate it? Let's go from there.
Right. In the advanced settings, little pro tip, that alt text has an SEO value to it, but it's also for people who cannot see, and it helps but it's an SEO thing as well. Right. So there is a double benefit to it. But also you can hide likes in the advanced settings tab.
Yes.
And why would people want to hide likes, Corrie?
Because it's a kind of like a psychology thing.
Vanity metric. What Instagram realizes is that people are starting to delete their content if they didn't reach a certain amount of likes in a certain amount of time. And if Instagram is an app that keeps you trapped, you deleting stuff and getting off the app because you felt bad about it is not their goal. So they give you the option to hide it from everybody else, but you yourself can still see it.
Yes. I think that's going to be a cool feature if they ever turn it all the way over to that.
Yeah.
to really engage with content because you actually like it versus seeing something has 1,000 likes and just liking it because you see 1,000 people liked it already. Mm-hmm. So
let's say people start commenting on this beautifully formatted post. You've tagged the right people, right hashtags.
Heather knows as soon as I post, I'm in that post for about 30 minutes because as soon as someone comments, I need to comment right back to them. I don't let it sit for another day. As soon as that post, those first few comments are super important as far as getting your post to trend, to maybe hit the Explorer feed as far as...
Okay, talk to us about the Explorer feed.
So the Explorer feed, you used to be one Explorer feed ruled them all. Now there's Explorer feeds for every single hashtag out there. So you can hit let me just use sugar cookie marketing.
Okay.
Hashtag sugar cookie marketing. We have 27,000 mentions. In the world of hashtags, that's a low amount of use, but it's such an active hashtag that you can appear at the top of the hashtag for it. So that's when Heather said, you can do top post or recents. Top post means those are the trending ones for that hashtag. When you hit that, you actually end up in the feeds of people following that specific hashtag, and that's how you reach more people.
So right now, I'm going to give a couple shout outs to the people on the trending. Sprinkle BZ has a beautiful flower image.
Oh, she's fantastic.
That's great. Baked Blessings by Lisa. That's adorable.
Absolutely.
These are great. I always notice there's always one video in the Explorer feed.
It's always the top one.
It's always the top one. And that's why video is truly valuable.
Man,
Reels. Junebug and Boo from Austin. Goodness, that's too talented. You're not allowed to use a hashtag anymore.
We're banned from
You are too talented. Oh, look in there too.
Oh, these
The unicorns you're talking about. And then JoJo's Cookie Studio in Fort Worth. Goodness, that is such a nice color palette. And look at that photography. Okay, great. And then Lisa's Cookie Kitchen did these character cookies, and they look so hard. They look great. Yeah. And then we have people with cakes. So great job.
Using the hashtag sugar cookie marketing, you can see top post, you can see the trending post under the top posts. Those are the...
Well, here's a question I think people might have. Sure. Should they use a brand hashtag? I know people think no. You'll hear some marketers say, hey, it wasted space. But here's the thing. If you tell your end user, your client, hey, if you upload a picture of my cookies, can you use this hashtag? Then other clients, their friends can click to that hashtag and see other works produced by you.
Right.
And I know people are like, but they don't take the greatest photos. But I'd rather know. I think it's a social proof to say, look at all the people buying from this person rather than look at this perfectly curated feed. If I want to see a curated feed, I'll go to your website. I'll see your highlight reel.
Yeah. And on our sugar cookie classes, I always use that hashtag on the post because I want my post to appear when someone's looking for sugar cookie classes. Yeah. So we did an exact match, meaning, tell me what exact match.
Exact match would be sugar cookie classes versus Heather and Corrie's classes. So sugar cookie classes is the search keyword. It is a risky click in the world of SEO, but it's what we went with because we were not focusing on SEO being our primary lead source. So like I said, intentionality. We intentionally did it that way.
Right. So I want someone looking for sugar cookie classes to happen upon me, to ask me, oh, where are you guys located? We're looking to take some classes.
Right. So that wraps us up. I have to make an apology for, we promised 2 folks this week be talking about SEO. And let me tell you, we did for about 45 minutes. And Corrie and I looked at each other and they said, this is so boring. What if we delete it? And Corrie said, goodness, I was hoping you'd ask. So
it was just a rabbit hole, guys. It's just getting deeper and deeper.
We were drowning. So SEO is very complicated. I'd love to talk about it, but I think it's best relegated to a paid course because it is so intricate and it's constantly changing and it is so boring. Corrie glazes like a jelly donut when I try to bring it up.
I voted to veto to save you guys from...
But my pro tip for all you who are devastated by this news.
All 2 of you.
If you have the place to fill it out and make copy that is interesting to read and make sense. So don't make it boring. Don't make it short. If you have some paragraphs to fill, that's Google or search engine saying, hey, yo, you can write this much. Do you want to? And the answer should always be absolutely yes.
For everyone else that does not understand what Heather just said in those 2 seconds, we are creating a course that will take you step by step, handhold by handhold, through SEO, what it's about, why does it benefit you, why you should consider it for your business. And it's kind of more of putting your eggs in multiple baskets instead of just relying on Facebook and then maybe waking up one day and your page is gone.
Right, exactly. So like we say in marketing, it should be a multi-eggs in multi-baskets campaign. It shouldn't all eggs be in your Facebook basket, which is actually one random tip I'd like to add right now.
Sure.
So we had a member message us desperately, and it was called like her Facebook name was group user 15792, and it was like something crazy.
I thought that was like a spam.
No, it was one of the group members. Her account had gotten closed.
Did she
Nothing.
know why?
Yeah, an ad account violation. But I can guarantee you the ad wasn't bad. It was about her cookie.
Did she request a review?
And she did. And she emailed us today and said, "Hey, I've finally given up. About getting it back." So here's the thing. When you're the sole admin of a page and your Facebook page, your personal page is shut down, you lose access to your business page.
Yeah.
It is there are ways to get it back, but right now I'm going to say that Facebook support is MIA.
They really are. And you are at the mercy of them deciding on if you can be a part of the platform and if you cannot be.
Facebook owes you nothing, and they will kick you off faster than your head can spin, even if it has no basis.
Right.
So there's people I've seen lose their entire, Facebook ads managers.
Yeah, so imagine people who are like, if I lost my Facebook page, I would lose my business. That you need to be a part of the course, because we're going to go through email marketing, we're going through SEO,
diversifying your marketing,
everything like that.
Right. So anyways, she actually emailed us today. She tried everything, nothing worked, and she's given up getting access back to her page. So our solution, and I know you're listening to this podcast, I'm so sorry, but our solution after we're reading that, add your husband or wife or sister you really trust as a page admin. Mm-hmm. I posted in the group how they can turn off notifications completely, but in the rare event that you lose access to your page, you still have an admin that can add your new profile back.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I know people say, well, I'll just make a second account. Technically, it's against Facebook terms of service, so it's a risk you can take. Corey and I obviously do it. But yeah, so whatever you do, just mitigate your loss. Her quick question, though, she desperately asked, is I've given up on getting my page back. I'm going to start a new page.
Okay.
However, now I'd have 2 pages with the same name, one that people keep tagging because that was me no less than 15 days ago. But what should I do to mitigate people tagging a page I can no longer post to?
So, in your settings of the page, and this doesn't always work, in your settings of your new page, you can go and you can submit to combine duplicate pages.
Oh, that's a solid one. I would start there before you do anything else.
Absolutely, because sometimes Facebook will allow you to keep either posts, maybe some followers, your information, so you don't have to retype it all. But I would do that. They can say no. If your name is too far different, if your old name is so far different from your new name.
You'd really ideally like to keep them exactly the same.
If it's the same, that's when they will maybe combine and merge those pages. If they're different, they'll be like, no. So
here's the thing. So I'd recommend create the new page, same name as the old page.
Yes.
Try to request a merger. If they say no, then update the new page's name to something more different. Unfortunately, this is just a crappy scenario, right? Not ideal in any aspect. But again, if people are tagging the old page, that's going to linger for a while until you kind of rebrand. And when you rebrand, you can say, this was my refresher, no longer tag my old page, and it's going to just take word of mouth and repetitive.
Definitely start with the merger and see if you can do that. It's not an overnight thing. It can actually take up to 2 weeks for them to decide, because they're going to comb through and make sure.
And again, remember, support's MIA. I don't think you're looking at 2 weeks anymore.
It could be, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Just to get something.
I like that solution.
If you can. All right, so our next business of baking, I wanted to talk about photography.
I like it.
So we just talked about Instagram and how to get the most bang for your buck, but without good photography, you're really working on an uphill, I was going to say road or slide.
Battle?
Uphill battle?
An uphill slide?
An uphill road?
Where did you go to the playground at?
I don't know.
An uphill slide.
What is an uphill what?
An uphill battle means that
you're right. Uphill battle. It sounded weird when you said it so slow.
An uphill battle? And you thought slide was the solution?
Well, it still would be a struggle to go on the slide. Okay, so with photography, when you're selling online, people buy with their eyes. And as we've seen with the pandemic and quarantine, a lot of people turned to the internet to buy their things because you could no longer go out. So a lot of people started their business and quickly realized good photography sells. When you look at, Heather, you've got to pay attention.
Looking. Somebody reported content. I had to delete it.
You told me to be in
I had to delete threads at all costs.
Okay, so when it comes to photography, people buy with their eyes. Good photography sells. Heather, have you ever opened a magazine and seen poor photography?
No.
Because?
Photography, man, I don't think people realize if you never advertise in a magazine, let's say we have a client that does remodeling, to take out a 1/4 page ad. So that means there's three other
back of the book.
in the back of the book. There's three other ads on the same page as the client's ad. So it's $3,500.
Yes.
$3,500 for an ad. I guarantee you nobody's looking at.
But if you're gonna have that ad, you better have good photography.
Good photography, and I guarantee the photography in that magazine is astoundingly great. Almost wonder if you took a cell phone potato photo, would it do better? Because if you get some eyes on it.
But photography is very important, especially when you are charging the prices you should be charging for something that takes so long to make, like sugar cookies. Your photography helps sell the value. You're selling an experience, a feeling, and what that does is provide value for your customers. So good photography creates good feelings, creates a sense of value that you can then charge.
It's also a great way to get money back. So let's say, hey, somebody orders from you, cost of goods, cost of labor, cost of production, and then you deliver the item and then you got your profit. Okay. That's not where the sale ends if you have good photography, because you can put that past work to future marketing use and make it work for you, which essentially is putting money back in your pocket.
Right. So Heather knows everything I bake gets a photo. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not planning on using it this month or next month, it's going to get a photo and it's going to get a spotlight sooner rather than later in my marketing efforts, because I want my hard work to keep working for me. So, Heather, I have some photography do's and don'ts.
I'm ready.
I think we'll go back and forth on it.
Okay.
So you do know photography, even though you say you don't.
I thought you said you do know photography. Oh, okay, I get it.
You do know photography. No, Heather knows photography. First and foremost,
I know post-processing. I do the photography. I don't do it like Corrie does, but I fix problems. And it's true in photography, garbage in, garbage out. It is much harder to fix something than it is to do it right.
Mm-hmm. So setting up a photo for success is so much easier to edit than giving a crappy photo and trying to make it work.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to make crappy photos better. So the higher we start, the higher pixel ratio, the higher quality image, the more I have elbow room to fix it in post.
Right. And when she's talking about post-processing, that's like editing in Lightroom.
That means the photo's taken. We cannot go back in time to get it. So whatever we have is what has to work. So for an example, Corrie's cookie collab photo, she didn't like the lighting, so she took it horizontally. And she said, can you make it a vertical photo in post-processing? Yes, you can. But that takes a lot of knowledge of how to fix problems.
Heather loves that she knows how to fix problems.
Content aware.
Okay, so my first is, and this, if you do anything for your photography, needs to be your lighting.
Here's the thing. Do you know what photography means? Photon is light. Photography is a capture of light.
Without light, you don't have a photo.
No. Ask my Samsung Galaxy S21 in the dark.
Yeah, that's supposed to take awesome photos.
It was like, please don't move for the next 10 seconds. What?
Okay, so lighting. So my do is find indirect natural light. I don't want you to go out and find the sun and put your bakes under it.
Indirect, let me translate for the non-photography people. If the sun shines down and it makes a hard shadow, that is direct light. Now, if I get an overcast day, that is diffuse light. The light is going through something before it hits me, and I don't see any harsh shadows. Think Peter Pan. If you can look down and you see a hard outline of your shadow, that you are in direct sunlight.
Yes. So Heather, but it's sunny outside. What do? I want you to go to the corner of your house where the shadow is.
The sun don't shine.
That is indirect natural light. You're as close to the light as you possibly can. So I have a giant sliding glass door in my basement. I will take a field trip with all my cookies downstairs, and I will take a picture next to that sliding glass door. There's no direct light in it. I get indirect natural light. I turn off.
So natural light, meaning it's not a light bulb, it's the sun.
Yes. Okay. And my do not use indoor light.
So a lot of things, what people don't realize is in a lot of overhead lights in a house, it's yellow tinted because that is more aesthetic for a living environment.
If your eyes are accustomed. If you are in a jewelry store, which me and Heather went jewelry shopping, I loved it.
Yeah, that's the light that is white.
Yes, that is white light. It makes those diamonds shine, but it also gives you a piercing headache.
Right, but it sells that jewelry because it's such a white, clean light. However, if you lived in that, that would be like living in a fish tank.
So most home bulbs are yellow.
We we had a client who hires a very, very, very expensive photographer, so expensive that when he gets to the client's house to take real estate photography, he'll take out all their light bulbs and replace them with white bulbs.
It's fantastic to watch him. It literally takes 5 million hours, but he does replace every single bulb in that space
to get that white light. So it brings out the real estate photography, and it works, and he's expensive, and it shows.
Right, because he has good photography, so people are willing to pay the price. So indoor lighting, it is great to live in. It is not great to photo in. The reason being is because it's yellow. So say if Heather just talked about those unicorn cookies I posted, they were white with pink mains. If I took them under a light bulb, that white icing would look yellow, kind of drab, a little dirty.
Yeah, the eyedropper tool, if you don't know, some people can't really see it, right? They can't really see the whites and what color they are. The eyedropper tool in most photo editing apps, Photoshop definitely, shows you if you drag and drop it on your white, so you can see like, whoa, this app thinks that's very yellow. So it's very yellow, and you'll need to tune the photo to get that back to white. I think it's called white balance.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so
thank you.
Good job. So when you're going to take a photo, I want you to do indirect natural light. If you take it in the morning like I do, it'll have a little bit of a blue hue that you'll need to pull out when you process the photo. If you take it in the evening, that's called golden hour.
You're going to have yellows.
You're going to have yellows, so you're going to need to pull those out.
What Corrie means is in the post-processing software, it's going to show you, hey, here's where the yellow's at. Then you'd slide it back to blue to take out the yellows. If it says, hey, a lot of blues, you'd slide it towards yellow to take out the blues, because those are countering colors, which somebody wants to teach a live on. I need to take it myself.
So that's color temperatures. So there is a little bit of that theory. I know sometimes when I'm scrolling through Instagram, I can be like, that was a morning photo. That was an evening photo. What you want in your photography, I don't want to know what time of day you took it.
Here's the funny thing. Corrie can't see purple very well. And we didn't know about it until she kept saying, like, do you like this gray sweater? And we're like, the purple one? And she's like, no, the gray one. I'm so sorry. The purple one? So Corrie will edit a photo with more purples in it because she can't see it. She sees them as gray. So it's something, and if your computer screen is not calibrated correctly, if you have at night, I have my computer do a blue light filter, which means it takes blues out. Right. If I'm editing photos, guess what that sucker boil?
So lighting, number one important prop for your photography,
the sun,
is the sun.
Right.
So all you people who are like, I hate props, guess what, honey?
He's shining on ya.
All right, Heather, you take the next one.
Okay, the subject. So we talked about lighting. Now let's talk about the subject of our photo. We do not want to crowd our subject. So I know everyone's like, hi, hey, beans. Okay. There's a time and place for props, and there's a time and place for no props, and each photo will be unique and require a different approach depending on what the content is and what the vibe is. So I always like to tell people, like, find the vibe. What are we going to go for? Clean, abstract? Are we going to go for homey? Because if we're talking homey, you're going to see some marshmallows and softs and woods and things. You know, I tell Corrie I really like a white backdrop because I can clean it and use it a lot in Photoshop. Now, if we have a more busy backdrop, it's a little harder to process, but she's painting an image. So when we're around Christmas time, you're going to see a lot more patterns and textures because that creates that homey feel, more darks, more candles, things like that. And as we get into something that's more fun, we're going to change the props there. So the don't is don't crowd your subject. The do is focus on your subject.
So there is a point in a photo where you can have too many props. I know I'm saying
what?
I am saying it.
Rude.
When you have too many props.
Oh, baby, low baby would like to sue you.
No, we were just at Oh Baby, Low Baby today. Ribbon was not on the
Frescia.
My Bow-Dabra was quite angry. Okay, but you can have too many props in a photo, and what I like to do is, my husband is not a cooker, he's not a photographer, but I will show him a photo, and I will say, what does it look like I'm selling? If he does not say cookies, then I know I have propped too far.
Yeah, and I want people to think about, where is the center? So, if your photo's divided into thirds, so thirds horizontally, thirds vertically. Does your subject, your focal point, does it fall within one of those intersecting lines toward the center? If not, the odds are it's too far out of your photo to be seen as the focal point.
So you're talking about the rule of thirds? Right. So rule of thirds, if you want to Google it, definitely that is a common thing in photography.
It's also a great way to like line up your photos too, because to mix it up a bit.
So you can actually do that. People who take cell phone photos, you can actually turn the grid on.
Mm-hmm. And the grid is rule of thirds.
Yeah, and that will definitely help you with the rule of thirds. Definitely Google it. It's easier to look at than it is to explain on the podcast.
But the concept is this. If I look at your photo and it looks like you're selling bows and your cookie is a supporting prop, it's not at the right focus point. Mm-hmm. So if you're struggling with drawing focus into your cookies, start removing props until it feels like, hey, my focus is the cookie here.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a great tip.
Oh.
Sometimes I've gone too far proppy and Heather will be like, I don't know, it's a menage.
I'm confused by myself. Did you quit this job and start working at Joann's?
I wish I did. The next is aspect ratios. When it comes to photography, the camera naturally fits in our hands horizontally if you're taking it with a camera. Your cell phone wants to do portrait mode.
Right. So most of the times when you hear 1080p, what you're hearing is the aspect ratio that's common for TVs. So, it's 1080p. It was the old thing. Now it's 4K. But 1080p is 1080 pixels, 1080 pixels by 1920, 1920 pickles. Oh, darn it. I thought I was going to get this podcast. I'm scared. 1920 pickles.
I can only imagine that many pickles.
Sounds delicious. Pickles, darn it. Okay.
What's she saying?
Okay. So when we're talking about pickles, when we're talking about pixels, gosh darn it. When we're talking about pixels, aspect ratio is important. Now we need to factor in, where is this photo going? If it's not going on a TV that's at 1980 by 1020, we'd probably want to go for, we just looked up the aspect ratio for Facebook and Instagram ads. That's ideal today.
16:9 and 1:1.
Yeah, so Corrie's using an abbreviation of a reduction of a fraction.
So a perfect square is
1-to-1.
Yeah, 1-to-1 ratio is what you want to use. Instagram loves that. Some of the Facebook ads really love that.
16:9 is 1920 by 1080. These are conversions and they're very confusing. Sorry. But basically if we just talked about pixels. Goodness, getting so close. I'm going to say it again. If we're talking about pixels, 1-to-1 will be any two numbers that match. So 1080 by 1080. That's the same number, so we got a perfect aspect ratio, 1-to-1. That makes a perfect square. Mm-hmm. Now, when we're talking about a vertical thing, what Facebook actually recommends is switching 1080 and 1920. So you'd have 1920 and 1080, which creates a vertical length photo. Now, why would we want vertical photos?
Okay, so in layman's terms, if I take a picture horizontally, I take up less of a news feed.
On a cell phone, which is how 98% of people are accessing Facebook these days.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to take up as much space on the news feeds for that endless scroll that maybe my photo might stop someone mid-scroll and they're like, oh, that looks delicious. Let me go buy this. So if I can take up more of my news feed space with my photo, I am working smarter, not harder. It's smarter, not harder?
Yes.
Or I'm working harder.
No, we want to work smarter.
Working smart, babe.
We want to make those pickles, okay? We want to go up the slide to get the pickles to work harder, not smarter. Guys, nothing but quality here at the Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast headquarters.
So take pictures vertically. Do not take them horizontally.
If you're confused by what we're saying, aren't you doing the logo collab in the aspect ratio we just talked about, the vertical?
Absolutely.
So if you want to look tomorrow to see the Sugar Cookie Marketing logo as a cookie, Corrie's going to upload it in that aspect ratio. Facebook recommended to take the majority of the feed on a cell phone.
Yes. If you want to take up less of the feed, take the picture horizontally.
Or do 1-to-1 if you want to compromise between the two.
Right.
And that's a perfect square.
Yes. So I always say do the first one, second one. Try to avoid horizontal photos if you can.
Yeah, and I love a horizontal photo. I love a horizontal video. It's just not what people are seeing on the phones these days.
Right. And it will actually change your staging in photography.
Mm-hmm. So Corrie, that's a great point. Yeah. When she took the photo today of the Sugar Cookie Marketing logo, she took it vertically because you were having what? Lighting problems?
Yes. Lighting on that pink backdrop was weird. I usually love a white backdrop because it's forgiving.
Right. So when you have a gradient now, we have more light at the top than we have at the bottom. We're getting a gradient of pink. So that is a little bit more difficult to deal with. In post, I was able to add the pink back to the top and bottom and make that
blue
16 to 9 aspect ratio.
Yes. So when you see that tomorrow for the logo collab, definitely check it out. It's going to take up more of your newsfeed than a horizontal.
Love that one. And basically, summation, take up as much as a cell phone screen as you can.
Amen. We should have started with that.
Yeah.
Versus pickles and slides.
Right. Okay, the next one, color palette. Did you spell palette right?
Correct.
I have no idea how to spell palette. There's 5 ways to spell palette in the English language, and none of them I know.
I just try to throw a couple L's in there.
Sometimes some T's. A lot of A's. The color palette. Do choose complementary colors. This is again with color theory. And then don't choose brighter colors than your cookie, which is a great one. I really like that. So we don't want our props and we don't want our backdrop to outshine our subject.
So can I say we have 4 of those in the United States. 4th of July is coming up this weekend. A lot of those red, white, and blue props are very bright. What I searched for at the Ho Baby, Low Baby and the TJ Maxxes of the world was more subdued colors. Because
rustic flags.
Rustic flags, exactly. Because when I want someone to see my photo, I want my bright colors on my cookies to be what catches their attention. I don't want the flag that I'm not selling to the side to be what grabs their eyes and their attention. I want my cookies too. So all my props are more of subdued colors, and I'll definitely take a picture this week and show you.
That's a good one.
Because I don't want my prop to take the attention away from what I'm actually selling here.
Now, let's say, what if we had a white backdrop cookie, so white flood, then we had the accents on the cookie, a bright red and blue, and then we had a very simple red paper background. Solid paper.
I think that's fantastic.
Now we don't have a lot competing here because we have such a simple background, we can have brighter colors.
Yes.
And it's all about if something goes up, something must go down, kind of like that. So brighter colors, fewer props. But because I am in post-processing, things I like to do is use the dodge and burn to add light where I want focus and to darken areas where I don't want people to notice. Desaturation on certain colors that are competing. So again, if we're using the whole image and we're desaturating all our blues, your cookie's going to lose its blue too.
True.
So I like to bring those into Photoshop. I like to create a selection outside of the cookie and desaturate those there.
So what she's saying in layman's terms for us simple folk is that if we have a red, white, and blue cookie that's, let's just say, a flag, but I also have a red, white, and blue flag as my prop, I don't want those colors to be identical. I want my cookie to stand out, so Heather will take it into Photoshop, put a little barrier around the cookie, and then desaturate everything that isn't the cookie. So cookie remains vibrant, everything else takes the B-roll.
Right, and it's not turning completely gray. What I'm doing is I'm drawing your attention to my focal point and away from distracting objects in the background. And again, it comes about how are my props interplaying with my focus point, my subject?
Are your props always playing complementary to your subject, which is whatever you're baking? If I look at there and I don't know what you're selling, you have done your staging incorrectly.
Right. So another thing I like to do, like sometimes my family asks me, hey, can you edit my photo real quick? Can you take out this like pimple I have? Okay, cool.
Can you take out my 7 please?
Can you make me look 10 years younger? Something I like to step back from their photo and I'll take out other things that they didn't ask me for, but I know that they don't notice. So Ashley sent me, she said she had a wrinkle on her shirt and asked me to Photoshop it out. But in the bottom right corner near her elbow where nobody was supposed to look was a blurry candlelight. So she had a candle lit behind her and all I could see was her smiling face and then that bright light towards her elbow. So I took it out, sent it back to her. She never brought it up because she didn't see it.
Yes. And Heather does that great. She took out my husband's belly roll and I did not have a heart to tell him that there was a belly roll there.
He was very proud of the way he looks.
Yeah, he thought he looked like
the camera truly does add 10 pounds, though, if you know anything about focal length. So I tell people, is this what you think you look like? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, did you edit me? I said, but you don't need to know. You don't need to. If this is what you think you look like, this is what it is.
And for people who are not connoisseurs of Photoshop like Heather, but she will be breaking down that in the course.
I think I have a lot. I've already built out the course for Photoshop. I think it's a lot of great stuff people can use. It's pretty easy.
Those are good. So if you are not ready for the course, you aren't going to sign up for the course, but you want to have these, take a photo. This is what I do. I take a photo and then I look at it and I say, what could I fix here? What wrinkle or candle could I fix here that would bring my attention back to where it needs to go? And then I'll fix my staging a little bit.
There you go. Garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
Love that one. You want to take us to the next one?
The next is your photo edges with props. do let your props hang off the side of your photo. Don't stuff all your props into the photo.
I love that one. Sometimes you see like the cookies in the photo and the entire props in the photo and then the candles in the photo and words are on the prop or in the photo. There's a lot of competing
attention things.
Yeah.
So you can actually what I really want you to do and focus on and see if you can see it is cut off your props. We're not selling props. We don't really care about the props. They're just there to help sell the photo and add value. So you can cut them off. A lot of times if you can cut the props off, people's eyes will be directed to the one thing that isn't cut off, which is your bakes.
Exactly. I love it.
So let it hang off the side. It doesn't need to all fit in there.
Think about if you take a family photo. Are you trying to get everything around them in it? Or are you just really focusing on the people? And hey, if it crops out the beach scene, if it crops out the house, who cares? That's not the focus.
Yes.
Your cookies are no different.
Exactly. So I love to cut a prop out if I feel like I'm stuffing too many props
I don't think you ever have a prop completely in.
I don't. I always cut them out.
Let me see. I'm going to go through your Instagram while you're talking.
Oh, I'm scared. So props are great when they add value. They're not great when you're stuffing them in. So I use AE Core Backers. It's a food safe backdrop.
Don't we have a discount code for that?
Yeah. If you want to save 20% off your AE Core Backer, use a sugar cookie at www, which I definitely just said www.aecorebackers.com, and you can save 20%. It is food safe. So when I set up my stage on my backdrop, I will have so many of my props hanging off the side because I don't care about them. I just want them to be there to paint a picture, to create a vibe, to sell a feeling. But I don't necessarily sell props, so if they hang off, that's fine.
Right. Now, if we're selling cookie cutters, we're going to take a different approach there. It's really what you're trying to sell.
Right.
You know, if you're trying to sell a car, you're not going to cut off parts of the car in your photo. He's the focal point. The car is.
Yes. So I would not necessarily cut off pictures of my cookies to fit a prop in, but I would cut off a prop to fit my cookies.
But in all fairness, sometimes Corrie will actually have a focal point cookie and then she'll have prop cookies. And even though they're the same thing, she'll have one cookie completely in the photo and in the backdrop, in the background, she'll have that extra part of the set, which is an aesthetic, maybe a little bit more of an advanced tip, but it works really well.
Right. It's when you want to bring a focus to, say if I do a set and there's one prize cookie that I know will make me more sales, that will be my focus cookie, and the other ones will actually take a B-roll as a prop that play alongside of my focus cookie.
That basically says, hey, this is a set, but I want you to look at this one.
Yes. And it gives me a lot more content to work with because I'll switch him out for another guy, switch him out for another guy. Then I have like 5 pictures to work with in my marketing campaigns versus just one.
All right, so back to props, tall props. Very confusing when things are different heights in a photo because it creates a challenge for the camera and for the photographer.
And for the people looking at it.
Right. So we want to put big things in the back. Big things in the back. Remember that poem I just wrote for you? Big things in the back.
Big things in the back.
So pickle ratios. So we want to put our taller objects toward the back and not focus on them. Again, they're going to get cut off. They're taller than our focus point, and that's fine because they are just a supporting argument to our main case, which is this beautiful cookie.
So say cake people think I don't give them any love because I don't bake cake.
Cakes are extremely hard to photograph.
But what you would want to do if you were staging a cake stand, now we're elevated, is to maybe have a vase with a tall floral coming out in the background. It's blurry, but what it's doing is guiding our eyes higher to where that cake is. So we're going to actually focus in the middle of our photo versus flat lay like we do with cookies often. We're going to actually do a straight on photo, and that tall vase in the background is actually going to guide our eyes up. So the same way we talk about beads guiding the eyes, your props can guide your eyes up, it can guide your eyes around, it can take up dead space, and that's what we really want with our props.
I like that. One thing Corrie mentioned, it's not on a list here, but something I really like. I'm a blurry boo. I like depth of field. So when I say depth of field, I'm talking about blur. So you'll have something in the foreground that's in focus. In the background, it's just blurred enough that you're not really sure what it is. It's kind of that is a great way to direct attention because our eyes will naturally always focus on what's in focus. And what's in the blurry background we'll never see, but it adds aesthetic.
So with flat lay photography, and people who don't understand what flat lay means, it means things laying flat.
So they're all on the same line of field line. What? Depth of field line?
Yes, that's where you go. Okay. Got it. We got it.
Pickles. The pickles are in the depth of field line up a slide.
There you go. But flat lay photography, everything's usually along the same depth of field, so it's hard to get that blur. But what if we focused on our prime cookie and kind of took an angle with our flat lay, then we can have that blur going onto the back of our photo to kind of paint that beautiful picture, creating that mystique, what could be back there, what am I missing?
I think when we talk blur, we're talking about a little higher end photography gear. We're not necessarily talking about your phone. I know Apple has that portraiture blur
So does
feature.
Samsung, the old thing.
Him's just trying. And that's a manufactured blur. That's not true. And so the higher quality lens will give you a lower f-stop. And I know that sounds confusing and everyone's going to like tune me out. The lower the f-stop, probably the more expensive it is. So I think the lowest f-stop we have is maybe a 1.4. And that means on the 50, the nifty 50, I can get a lot of depth of field, meaning Corrie's eyes could be in focus, but her hair will be blurry if you get a lower f-stop.
But then I bought the macro lens.
Which means smaller photography.
Smaller photography, a lot more blur, a lot more detail I can capture in there. 100 millimeter, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't think I was there when you bought it. But the concept being investing in your photography allows you a little bit more flexibility when it comes to capturing your image. Mm-hmm. If you're dealing with a camera that has no depth of field, that means a lot of your stuff will be in focus and you'll be battling that a little bit more. Just something to keep in mind. If you're wondering how people are getting that nice blur effect, it's because they're probably using a DSLR or a what's a new camera? What's a Sony camera? It doesn't have mirrorless camera.
Yeah. So that's all I had for prop talk for photography. We could go on endlessly, and I know we'll bring it back in another podcast because I really want to talk about how to build a vibe and a feeling in your photo, because that is what you want to convey to your audience. When they look at those cookies, do they feel like they're curled up on the couch in their burrito blankets, sweating?
Right. Think about what you're trying to sell and work the problem backwards. If we're in winter, if we're in Valentine's Day, I'm going to say we're going to be looking at reds and pinks.
Yeah, bright, fun. Anything summer, I think bright, fun. Let's do our white backdrops and really do it. But
summer's just going to be blues, tans, yellows, bright, fun, light, airy.
October, darker. We got Halloween coming up. It's a lot more fun.
So you can kind of say, and a great way if you don't see this yourself is just to go to the mall and walk around and look at the ads there and look at the stores and what they're selling. They're painting the picture for you.
What catches your eye?
Yeah.
Because what catches your eye, odds are it's going to catch someone else's eye.
Absolutely.
So I love photography. It is my favorite thing. I think I just bake so I can take photos, and I collect the photos. And Heather says your phone can't hold anymore.
We've had a couple interventions.
Like my babies.
I've been trying to convince her what cloud storage is and how it works.
No, you went to accidental time. All right, so that wraps us up. And now we're at Heather's favorite part, and I do enjoy it myself, which is voicemails. For voicemails, you can call or text in. I swear we will not talk to you. We will not text
That's
you.
That's the incentive, is that you don't have to talk to us about pickles. So.
Pickles or slides. So that phone number is 571-556-5644, or you can send an email in, hello@sugarcookiemarketing.com. Heather, someone wanted us to figure out how to make it like the international phone number. So,
oh Lord, I don't know. Okay, I don't really know how to answer my own voicemail. I'll figure it out. If not, though, don't worry about calling or texting. The email works.
Yeah, send the email.
So that'll be hello@sugarcookiemarketing.com. And that one's international. And you could also probably send a voice text to Facebook, and I'm sure I could download it.
Most people send text messages anyway, so an email would work just fine.
Yeah, that's just fine. But we do have a voicemail. I'm going to play it. Neil.
Hey, Heather and Corrie. I just finished the podcast number 17. Glad you had a great trip. My question is about Eddie. I have worked very hard to have the best tasting sugar cookie decorated with royal icing that doesn't dry rock hard. I've had so many customers tell me they are pleasantly surprised my icing has a soft bite and not rock hard as other cookies they've had. I'm in the Facebook Eddie group, and I've seen some of the posts that people have no smearing or bleeding issues with their normal icing that they have added corn syrup to. Then I hear you guys talk about you want to modify your recipes. Taste is a deal breaker for me. How can I satisfy my dilemma without just blindly buying Eddie? By the way, I'm in South Texas where we are hot and humid as hell. I use a dehumidifier and a dehydrator. Have any suggestions for me? By the way, you are both my favorite. Thanks for all you do. And I love the podcast. And this is Kristen from Texas. Thanks.
All right, that is a fantastic question. And
Why would people be asking us Eddie questions?
Eddie is our sponsor, and we made a post about them, and then apparently their group blew up.
And now they have no more Eddies. They're on back order. There was a shipping issue, and there was a lot of orders at the same time. With those powers combined, the poor Eddie manufacturing plant has been under full max operation.
But now they think they're cruising for a bruising since they got everything going.
Oh, I'm hoping so.
But great question. What Eddie, which is a...
So here's the complexness about Eddie. He prints on anything edible. It's an edible food printer approved by the FDA.
To surface printer. So no, don't think sheets, don't think wafer paper. This is right on your royal icing like an airbrush would be.
Now, the complexity of Eddie is if you have more of a glaze type icing, the print prints on there, but...
It's a water-based ink.
Right.
So what is royal icing's arch nemesis?
Water.
So think that if it's a humid situation, if you have a lot of water in your icing, a lot of water in your flood, you could potentially face color bleed. Just like in airbrushing, just like in royal icing, the colors can bleed and it can oversaturate and it can cause your cookies to...
So our Texans friends question is, if I'm not willing to change my recipe because I absolutely love it and it's the best, and I definitely did not mail any to you because your mailbag is empty. Could I consider an Eddie, or should I be shopping elsewhere?
Great thing. Primera said, send us your cookies and we'll print on them, send it back to you so you can see what it looks like with the Eddie print on there. So if it bleeds, they'll send it back to you. If it doesn't bleed, they'll send it back to you.
Right. It seems to me like the Eddie has a struggle, not so much with just printing on it, but it's the bagging is where you see it. And where in the bag, you're capturing that moisture, has nowhere to go. You have cellophane touching the print face now, and it's a little bit of that depositing. But people have used cornstarch to kind of paint the top of it.
Use cornstarch. We use a dehumidifier because it's so humid up here. So it actually helps everything to dry faster. It pulls any excess water out, and then we've had a lot of luck with no bleed with that.
But I'd say if I took an Eddie cookie on your current recipe, but Corrie will be tweaking her recipe to make it less
I have a
water-based.
Water and a lot of butter in the recipe.
That's two moisture additives.
A lot of moisture in there.
So I think we'll be tweaking it. I've tasted some great cookies with less butter and water in it. So I don't think it's the end of the world to compromise. At the end of the day, I'd rather be able to produce 5 dozen with a decently great recipe than to have 5 dozen that are bleeding and transferring, right?
Right.
You're looking at me with like a dazed and confused stare.
You taste better cookies than mine.
No, they're all the cookies are great. There's just different recipes that fit different scenarios. You guys in your recipes are like you guys need to be more versatile with your recipes. We're here to make money.
So you can actually send your cookies in, get them tested, see what it looks like to print exactly on your cookies. I think if you send in a 3.5-inch circle cookie, that's what they'd probably prefer. Mm-hmm. And they can print on there. I don't know how many they would do for you, but I just heard that this is a service they offer to see if it helps you make any decisions.
Another great thing is you can return your Eddie within 30 days of purchase. So if you got it, set it up, hated it, then you can return it.
Yeah, test drive that bad one.
Yeah, and a lot of people are waiting to get the refurbished ones or sent back ones, but they're...
Primera says we rarely do.
Yeah. So it is a really cool feature. I would say it's not cheap. It's about $3,000 out the door. Canadians are looking at $5,000.
Yeah.
It's definitely something if you can join the Eddie group and ask if anyone's local to you, you could go sit there and talk to them about it, test it with your environment. Because at the end of the day, if you ask Eddie, like, what's with the bleed problems, Eddie said there's too many environments and too many recipes for us to tell you.
We had a local cookier drive over to us, and she printed them into cookies, and it didn't bleed for her. So now she's thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so find somebody that people who have Eddies are willing to let you come over, and I'm speaking for Eddies as if I'm like the spokesperson.
If you're having people with Eddie, let them into your house.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, Corrie, voicemail 2 is a text. You want to read it?
Sure. It's from a 937 area code. No idea where that's located.
Farmersville Cookie Co. in Ohio.
Ohio! Hey twins, Madison from Farmersville Cookie Co. in Ohio. Absolutely love listening to your podcast while I'm baking. Thank you for all you do and the knowledge you share. It is so valuable and very much appreciated. Okay, quick question. Thoughts on teaching cookie decorating class and how this may affect your customers in the area from them buying your cookies versus attempting to make them on their own? Maybe a silly question because of course their skill level won't be the same, so they'll probably buy cookies anyways, but my husband thinks that if I teach all my secrets in decorating classes, it will take away from my customers customers ordering beautiful cookies from me, and also may have them trying to start selling cookies as well. I used to do a lot of vinyl projects with my Cricut, and my biggest 3 customers at the beginning all ended up buying their own and trying to sell things they made as well. Of course, there's room for everyone, so not a huge deal, but was kind of annoying when we have a lot of the same mutual friends. Also, thoughts on virtual classes versus in person? Thanks so much. Happy twinning.
Okay, this is a great question. We have taught, I think at this point, over 150, maybe 200 people. Yeah. We've taught over 200 people. One person sells.
Only one person.
One person. And we've told them everything they needed to know. We had people coming to class who had the airbrush machine already, and they're not selling yet.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I figured that those are very 2 distinct target audiences. People wanting to take class, we find, is more they're having a good time. And the people who are truly there to learn act much differently.
Right. And as you know, all you bakers out there, to get into cookie decorating cost a small fortune and about 10 years off your life. So that isn't for everybody. A lot of people don't realize how much it entails until they go look at how much an Eddie printer is.
If anything, what I find that people come to class, then the little thing they say as they're leaving is, I didn't realize it was that difficult.
Yes. So if anything, we've been able to add value to the industry. People are like, I charge $1 million for these.
Have you ever had an order from somebody that took the class?
That took the class? I don't know if I actually had an order from them.
Yeah.
I don't actually tout that I want to do their custom orders either.
Oh, you always tell somebody to order. Corrie has a list of people she'd refer them out to because Corrie apparently doesn't want money. So great.
I only can do like one solid order a week, except for Heather had me do 6 dozen last week, and I almost cried. So, so I would say vinyl and stickering is a little bit different than cookie decorating.
Because that one doesn't require necessarily the skill talent. Pressing print on that, Eddie, me, is much different than you guys with your custom orders. And I don't know that it would do anything other than educate your customer that it is a very difficult thing to learn.
Right. So out of our 200 plus students, only one sells, and she doesn't sell that much. I'm still friends with her. I still give her
she
tips.
still sends us photos of her creations.
Right, which I do love. So I'm never worried about it. There's so many mouths out there that are willing to buy cookies that it just never crosses my mind that I'm training my competition.
Yeah, I think it's a little different than the Cricut. The Cricut is buy the machine, buy the print file, sell it.
Yeah.
The cookies is a little bit more of an art.
Yeah, a lot of
my Cricut people, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I know you guys have a talent. It's hard.
All the Cricut people. You just chose Corrie as your favorite. And last question, virtual classes versus in-person. During the pandemic, we did a lot of virtual classes, but what happens is a lot of people prefer in-person.
Here's the thing about it. Think about it this way. When we do a virtual class, we could try, but it didn't do well. You can't charge as much as the in-person class. 1, we don't have to do cleanup, but 2,
they don't get that
personal feel
around and be like, let's fix that mistake you just did real quick.
And fixing that mistake, that one-on-one. So we did do the virtual class over Zoom. We muted everyone in the class. We did give them the ability to use the chat feature, but most of them didn't even have their cameras on anyways. So it was not that in-person vibe. And we did cut it off by an hour. So it was an hour for them versus our in-person class is an hour and a half, and we do a lot more practice.
Right. So my neighbor is one of our number one.
I think she's taken 7 classes for some reason.
But she did take the in-person one and she did take the virtual one. So I was able to get a first-person impression. And she said it's just more valuable and more fun to be there in class with you walking around telling us how horrible we are. So
think about it this way. If we can fit 10 people in a room to manage, because we got to do people management, and we could charge them $70, that's 700 people. But if we could...
700 people?
Oh, $700. What am I doing with my life?
Sides.
Goodness, this is a rough one. We're barely getting off the landing strip. But if I did a virtual class and I charged less, I'd have to have more people.
Right.
And it's however you want to approach that, as long as we're trying to maximize profits effectively.
If we could choose, I would love to do virtual classes.
Virtual classes are a lot easier, a lot more, like as soon as I turned off the Zoom, Corrie and I are like, let's go to lunch. The in-person class, we got to do a lot of cleanup. A lot of people like to loiter after class and chit-chat and talk and show us what their daughter's cousin's dad made for a birthday cake 10 years ago.
So if your clientele would do a virtual class, I would say that is less time consuming for you, but I think a lot of people...
We did a great test. We actually offered an in-person class, but if you didn't want to do the in-person class, we'd live broadcast it over Zoom, and no one signed up for the virtual version.
We sold out in person, no virtual.
So we did the test for you. Another text. This is already at an hour and 13 minutes. I'm so sorry.
And we even did a bad podcast that we deleted.
The text number 3 says 847 area code. Woohoo! Hello, my favorite set of twins. This is Tamar. From way northern Illinois. My question might make me sound like I'm trying to work at Ho Baby Low Baby, as it's only June and I'm thinking ahead towards autumn. Like so many others, I love the coziness that fall brings, and I'm excited to represent that in my cookies. Aside from back to school and Thanksgiving, what other types of fall themed pre-sales should I be thinking about? I'm not currently ready to do pop-ups, nor do I do farmers markets. Any advice would be amazing, or dare I say, miraculous. I love the podcast and the group. Thanks for everything you do. Hashtag Team Beads emoji.
Team Beats emoji. Okay, what we sold out of over and over all of last fall was DIY kits.
Especially for Halloween. I mean, my goodness, that was our first holiday DIY kit testing, like pre-ordering thing. And Corrie decided to keep the ordering form open.
I did it till the night before Halloween.
And I was on a trip. And I get a call from Corrie saying, I need help. There's too many orders. And I said, Corrie, like, I'm driving down an interstate. She's like, this is your shoulder? So I'm pulling off on a shoulder where it says authorized vehicles only. And I'm trying to get my Chromebook connected to the hotspot for my phone. And a police officer pulls up and he says, are you in distress? I said, yes sir. Can you help me with these orders? I think we ended up selling 50.
Yeah.
And at the 50th order, we had already increased the price by, I think, over $20.
In total. So I will say that day before we sold 30. In total, we did 50 from the week before.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was fantastic for us. I will say, though, that was a pandemic year.
That was true. So nobody was going out trick-or-treating, right. And somebody had posted about us in a mom's group saying, oh, crap. Oh, no, it's cute. Is it? Okay, it's good. Sorry, the podcast.
Sometimes this thing stops filming. So
recording.
A couple podcasts ago, me and Heather copied our words and we said Ho Baby Low Baby segment twice.
We would like to officially apologize to Podcast Land for saying Ho Baby Low Baby that many times.
Yeah, so that was an accident. Heather was like, it stopped recording. We have to start again. I said, have we talked about Ho Baby Low Baby yet? And she's like, I don't think so. So when I listened to the podcast on the way home, I said, we are insane.
Okay, but that was a weird year last year. It was a great year for cookies. If you look at the Google Trends report I posted in the group, it was trending up from a down trend that we'd been seeing for years prior.
But for Thanksgiving, we sold a ton of DIY kits too.
Yeah.
And we sold it like something fun to do. You'll be at home. Everything's closed this year on Thanksgiving, so give them something fun to do at home.
Yeah, so I like the DIY kits, and I like focusing. Halloween is the first uptick of the holiday season for cookies. Mm-hmm. If Christmas is the Super Bowl and Thanksgiving is the playoffs, October 31st is whatever comes before the playoffs.
Heather does
Final
not
Four.
Know sports. So
the
Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay, so voicemail number 4, 818 area code. I feel like that's in some rap song out there. Hi, twins. Thank you so much for everything you do for this group. Just had to text you to let you know that I do not have a favorite twin, but my 15-month-old baby does. Corrie. I'm not
She actually wrote this.
It says, Corrie, my baby sent you a friend request via Facebook that I had no clue about until you accepted it. My son saw the notification come in and insisted on taking my phone and proceeding to stare and smile for a full 5 minutes at your profile. Thanks for accepting. His name is Luca if you want to give him a shout out. And that is
Amber
with Auto B Baking Co. Luca!
Stop screaming in that voice again. So I would like to say the reason why I don't accept friend requests is because I'm not on Facebook for anything but
friendly.
work. Corrie accepts all friend requests.
Hello. No, if I can see that you're a baker, I'll accept it. But if you're like, a 75-year-old sugar daddy, I'll accept it.
That's good. Okay, we have got to put along here. It's an hour and 18 minutes in, making this the longest podcast.
I got a husband and kid to bed.
I think the group lives. Okay, so we have our logo collabs tomorrow.
Okay.
This is group stuff. The local collabs tomorrow. You can't sign up for it anymore. You technically could participate if you baked a cookie up tonight and
use that.
but you can't sign up for the handy dandy list. No one will use that I made. But that'll be cool. You can, if you want to peruse what people do, I think it'll be fun. It's hashtag Sugar Cookie Marketing Collab.
Yeah, collab with 2 L's.
Is there a collab with one?
Sometimes people spell it with one.
Oh, I thought I spelled it wrong, which I would not put it past me. Okay, upcoming lives tonight in an hour or two. We have how to make bag tags with the Avery website with Belinda Cooley. So she said, hey, a lot of people, pay for an app, but Avery lets you do it free. You can get the Avery labels at your local Walmart online, but Avery.com, the company that makes the labels, has a bag tag kind of maker, and she's going to walk us through that tonight.
And Thursday, this is a chock full of live week.
Yeah.
We have last minute intro to Canva with Lauren Jacobs, and that's Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She is going to, if you have a Canva question, if you're like, I've heard about Canva, I have no idea what it is, she is going to give you that intro, break it down for you, and she is passionate about it. So if we need to learn from somebody.
I downloaded Canva, I made an account on Canva just to look at that. It looks like there's a lot. It's a really powerful tool. So I'd say
tune in Thursday.
Right. And then on Friday, we have a really cool last minute live with Rochelle Wildy. Yes. Anyways, so she's really good at pop-ups, but she's like, hey, I'm having a pop-up Friday night. Can I just walk everyone through it?
Yeah, so why she sets it up, we get to
see
with her.
What she brings, why she brings it, what she does, and how she sets it up. And she's like, yeah, I'm willing to show you guys everything.
And she actually is super successful with them, so I'm excited for these next 3 lives the next 3 days.
No, yeah, so that one is tonight. The last minute intro to Canva is on Thursday. And then
it feels like a Wednesday to me, but it's because it's almost Wednesday because I'm still here.
Okay, we past lives, we had a really awesome live with Frescia.
Oh, she is the packaging
Bow-Dabra. She really walked everyone. I think she did it for over an hour and a half. Shows you how to make bows and everything. Was really
so cute. And so many people have just taken it and run with it. I
even saw Sam from Sam's Cookie University.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did.
She was going to hustle for that sale.
Okay, and then we have 1 ticket left for our late lunch learn and link up.
It's going to be the lucky number 20.
Yeah, that'll be our first ever sugar cookie marketing meetup, and that will be at Tyson's Corner Center on August 26th from 2 to 4. And then after that, we'll have just a happy hour. That is free to just show up, drop in, say hello.
Hear us drone on from 2 to 4. Join us 4 to 6.
We can drone on there.
You ain't get away from it.
And then CookieCon, which we have T-shirts. A lot of people ask for. I know we're like talking at the speed of sound at this point. Courtney's get home and traffic's building up. No, so a lot of people said, hey, we'd like to go to CookieCon, but we'd like to meet other members. Can we have a CookieCon shirt? So we made 2 shirts that you can order from sugarcookiemarketing.com/shop. You can pick Team Dallas or Team Orlando. And I think in Orlando, where Corrie and I will be speaking, we'll have a meetup where you can wear that pink shirt and we can take a group photo.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
You have the Team Dallas shirt, so you need to order.
I did order a Team Orlando shirt.
So definitely, whether you're Team Dallas, whether you're Team Orlando.
I think it'd be a cool way to meet other members.
Yeah, silently have the silent nod to sugar cookie marketing.
You're wearing a highlighter pink shirt. I too am wearing a highlighter pink shirt.
And we want to see those photos from you Dallas folk that meet up with other Dallas folk.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to Twinterests. I, like
immediately,
many others,
with no haste, Corrie.
And I have renamed it Bowdubruh.
Corrie got a Bowdubruh.
It's called a Bow-Dabra, but me and Heather love to change the pronunciation of words, so it's a Bowdubruh now.
Pickles.
Oh, baby, love it.
So from Frescia's live, there's a Bow-Dabra big and a Bow-Dabra little.
Mini.
And you got the mini?
I got both.
Corrie.
Good. I can't have.
How are you going to judge me for getting a tank of gas?
Why are you mad?
Bowdubruh. So Corrie and her Bowdubruhs, plural. You made the bows. How was it?
The big Bowdubruh.
Corrie, you have an issue. You sleep in a hot cocoon and you say Bowdubruh.
So weird. Okay, the big Bowdubruh, it would be good for wreath making bows.
Oh, it's that big.
You can make giant bows from it.
Wow.
You can also make a little bit smaller bows that would be good if you were saying packaging on, those bigger boxes we use?
Yeah.
It would be fine for that.
Okay.
The mini Bowdubruh can be great for really showcasing your cookies because it doesn't cover the window at all. But it's also good if you individually pack cookies to add it to the
That's
top.
good. So would you recommend people starting with the mini first?
Mini Bowdubruh.
It's like $12.
$12.99.
It's the gateway drug because the bow ribbon is what's expensive.
Yeah, Oh Baby Lovely was not discounted today.
Right. I would shop those ribbon sales.
It was 50% off yesterday.
Yeah, Corey made me driver today. It was crazy. Okay, so a lot of people, Prime Day just passed. Many of you spent way too much. Courtney, I'm looking at you, buddy.
Hey, Courtney.
Courtney bought so much. She said boxes keep arriving. My husband keeps finding
me Courtney.
Oh,
I also too bought a lot.
that's the guilt.
I'm very guilty.
So I know a few people had a question. They bought the Ender 3 Pro.
Is that what we
Not
have?
the Ender 3 Pro V2. Yeah, we had the Ender 3 Pro, and people are like, I don't really know how to get it to print. And the big key, me either. The big key, I know nothing about 3D printing. I just know for that specific model, you have to have the bed leveled. And that sounds complicated. It's not. But I thought maybe I'd do like a Facebook Live on just how to level the bed, because that's the only big step you need once you assemble it to get printing.
Yeah, I've seen Heather not level the bed.
It's professional spaghetti printer. But hey, the biggest thing I could recommend for you people who did get 3D printers is join Sam's Cookie University. She does not have the Ender 3 Pro. She has a little bit more advanced setup, and she has a lot of them, but she teaches you how to use the Fusion software. She sells this amazing app called Bella that builds out the cookie cutters, and she also tells you how to make a cookie cutter every weekend, and then she gives you the STL file so you don't have to do it. Huh?
So you can make it.
But she gives you the STL file so you don't have to make it. You just press print.
Saying, like, make the cookie cutter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. She has so many. She's been doing it for months. Every Sunday, her and her husband.
Heather's printed me off a bunch.
Yeah, they're really amazing. And she does really kind of advanced tactics and teaches you how to do it. And if you just give up and start cursing, you can just take her STL file and print it.
That's fantastic. All right, now we are at sponsors. It says say something about Eddie.
Oh yeah, just so you know, if you bought the Ender 3 Pro right now on Amazon, it's only $165. On the Creality website, it's over $200. It's $213.
Oh, definitely get that Amazon.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing to be able to print your own cutters.
Heather charges me now
$4. $4.
$4, but it was
Cheapest cutters in the land. Yours for $4. Free shipping. And you just have to come to my house.
Get it. Okay, it says say something about Eddie. That's all you good with.
Okay, so Eddie is our sponsor. It is that printer that we referenced earlier. Mm-hmm. It is good. It is good. I learned, so we printed off some cow cookies. The client wanted purple cow cookies, and when we went to take him to print, he printed off a little pink. And someone said I had the wrong color profile in Photoshop.
I want to say...
Why are you interrupting me?
Because Heather printed off 15 of them before she says, I think we could make them a little purpler. So I had to rush downstairs, make 15 more cow cookies, ice them, dehydrate them, and print them.
I've never seen Corrie so stressed.
Heather's like...
It's almost as hot as her bed.
It was very hot.
So it turns out with the Eddie, because we wanted to do the sponsorship, it's not just saying buy something, we wanted to add a little value. It needs to be I had an RGB color profile. If you know anything about editing photos, the color profile needs to be set to CMKY. I had it to RGB, and Eddie doesn't prefer that.
How dare you?
Pink cows. They tasted
We
great.
ate them all.
I ate it last night, the last guy.
Okay, so we actually have another sponsor coming in the works, and we will hopefully work out them details soon. But
Why'd you get all southern on us?
Because I'm ready to,
Bacon the dog.
ready to hit the old dusty road.
Head on home.
Okay, and just a reminder, we want free stuff. I'm reading this.
So we had the mailbag, and thank you so much to Greg and our Boo Bear last week who sent the printer table. Really, just write us a card, man.
Just a card, people. Just say Corey's my favorite twin. Gosh darn it.
Send me a picture of your kids and your family. I just
Cat photos.
I don't care. So the address is 15000 Potomac Town Place, Suite 245. Woodbridge, Virginia 22191.
Don't make me start naming people. I will name you and I will call you.
If your name is Courtney, all you Courtneys and Corries.
No, Courtney just had me making cookies for her this week, so Courtney, don't send anything.
If your name starts with the letter A through Z, we're going to need you to write us a letter.
All right, guys, we are talked at the speed of light here at the end, and I need to get into traffic so I can get home.
Get your butt out of my house. Bye, guys.